Good morning. This is Pastor Zach with the Goodland United Methodist Church with your morning devotion for Thursday, November 30th. Today I'm reading from the Gospel of John, chapter 21, verses 21 and 22. When Peter saw him, he said to Jesus, "Lord, what about him?" And Jesus said to him, "If it is my will that he remain until I come, what is it to you? Follow me." I want to read a reflection on these verses from a book written by Oswald Chambers, a devotional, My Utmost for His Highest. One of the hardest lessons to learn comes from our stubborn refusal to refrain from interfering in other people's lives. It takes a long time to realize the danger of being an amateur providence, that is, interfering with God's plan for others. You see someone suffering and say, "He will not suffer, and I will make sure that he doesn't." You put your hand right in front of God's permissive will to stop it. And then God says, "What is that to you? Is there stagnation in your spiritual life? Don't allow it to continue, but get into God's presence and find out the reason for it. You will possibly find it is because you have been interfering in the life of another, proposing things you had no right to propose or advising where you had no right to advise. When you do have to give advice to another person, God will advise you through the direct understanding of His Holy Spirit. Your part is to maintain the right relationship with God so that His discernment can come through you continually for the purpose of blessing someone else. Most of us live only within the level of consciousness, consciously serving and consciously devoted to God. This shows immaturity and the fact that we're not yet living the real Christian life. Maturity is produced in the light of a child of God on the unconscious level until we become so totally surrendered to God that we are not even aware of being used by Him. When we are consciously aware of being used as broken bread and poured out wine, we have yet another level to reach, a level where all awareness of ourselves and of what God is doing through us is completely eliminated. A saint is never consciously a saint. A saint is consciously dependent on God. The verses in John that we read are about Peter trying to figure out which of the disciples was to betray Jesus, and wanted to know about a specific one. And Jesus says, "What is it to you? It doesn't matter. You still are to follow me." So often I think we get bogged down in the weeds of small things in the church, in Christianity, and we don't think about what we should be doing and just following Christ. If we let ourselves be used by God fully, if we fully surrender ourselves to God, then the small things just don't matter because our focus is on God and the Spirit is moving throughout our lives and our community. This is what we're called to do and be. It isn't an overnight thing. It's not a decision you make. It's a lifestyle you lead that becomes a journey that is well worth it. As a closing word said, a saint is never consciously a saint, but a saint is consciously devoted to God. May that be our goal and our challenge this day. Have a blessed day.